like listening to the off the minutes kind of thing. I just think it's fun. I just like hanging out with you guys. So, anyways, go on, Garrett.
It is fun. So, as you saw, hi, my name is Garrett Prather. I play the character of Peter Quill.
Hi, Garrett.
You'll know. Yeah, thank you. Hi. You'll
welcome to Off the Table, Mr.
Yes,
Garrett Prather. Could you tell us what was going on in your head when you gave us that emotional scene?
So here's what's funny about that scene when I saw the skeletons of what I can only assume is a demon and an angel. While I had my character Peter display that, like, oh no, I know exactly what's going on now. Truly, we can conquer this. I, as a player, have no fucking idea what I just saw, and I feel like I'm lucky I got out of the Skunk Ape death pit. Like, I love everything that happened, but
Well, I, as the GM, I know exactly what you saw, but I will let that be the surprise because that's fun. Oh yeah, also, real quick, everybody do marks. I won't necessarily. I will say Peter. Everybody gets 1 beat, but Peter, you get 2 beats because I'm just going to say that you going off and checking off all of that actually pushed you further into the mystery. So and honestly, I just kind of feel like, and nothing against you two. You two are always great, but I think Peter kind of deserves a little something for that extra bit of purple.
Yeah,
the fact that,
100%. Like I was almost moved to tears by that. Yeah, my goodness.
Yeah, y'all are all very kind. But
no,
yeah,
legitimately, like I'm sitting here, like I don't know if you saw, like
No, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't even looking at the screen. Like I wasn't focused. I was just like.
You were there.
All right, so seriously, if this is off the books talk, like in our last sessions, like the last 2, like no kid, when Peter broke that kid's fingers, like Peter crossed a line, and when I devised Peter's character, like, and mind you, here's what's funny, like whether you remember or not, we've actually as a team gone through like 3 hunts, like we're currently on the 3rd hunt.
Yeah.
So, like, Peter's managed to kind of, like, that's the whole thing. If he kept that, like, wolf skin suit. And you guys always were like, oh, why are you, like, keeping that? And of course, he was going to use it as a prop. But, like, I got to be honest with you. At this point, Peter, it came down to either he doesn't cross a line and just things don't move, or Peter has to move kind of forward as a character and cross a line he never wanted to cross, and he's crossed it.
Damn.
And I mean, you guys earlier, like in our first session, like y'all tried to address it with hugs and everything, but no kidding, Peter's beyond that. Like he's beyond hugs. Like Peter literally views himself as a character at this point, like as y'all's personal, like especially dealing with like. Nearly making Beryl fall into a pit of infinite darkness, like Peter. At this point,
those were fun times.
But like the way I'm actually playing Peter at this point, it's beyond kind of fun-loving museum curator. It's actually like Peter feels like at this point he has dragged 2 people he's come to love into a horrible situation, and they keep nearly dying. And if something happened. Peter might not handle it very well.
Well, like, God, I mean, I guess I can sort of understand why he might feel that way, but at the same time, like, I don't, like, obviously, like, I think we all feel sort of obligated to the others, right? That's why Beryl has kept going. It's because she like doesn't want to leave these boys on their own to like do this, even though arguably she's not helping that much a lot of the time.
Oh, stop. You're fine.
Actually, no, I mean, I get where you're going. That would be weird if we're like, hey, Beryl, we've got this thing going on. Beryl's like, nope, and hangs up.
All that bonding and the shared experience, nothing. It means nothing.
But she's definitely like not dealt with the fact that she's like, that the first almost death she sort of that took a while to process. So I think it's going to be at this point she sort of put that aside for right now, and I think she'll probably like get to there emotionally afterwards. But right now, like because we're sort of like focused on this, it's just like, okay, let's just do this thing, let's finish this, and then I can freak the fuck out about the fact that I almost fell into a pit of darkness and went into the sunken place forever.
No, in all honesty though, I like everything that everybody's brought to the table. Even Tyler, when he was playing, like, I mean, none of you guys are playing the same character, and that's the important thing. You know, like you all have brought really fun stuff to the game, and
we're all very different characters for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Well, I feel like Jeb, I'm trying to keep him a little ignorant because he hasn't had anything that's like really, really shook him. Like nothing's happened to Frank. He hasn't almost died. Like he's like seeing kind of things happen to his friends, but nothing for him is like really shook him. So he's kind of like, oh, like hugs. Like I'm just going to tell Peter that he's doing a great job and I appreciate him. He's a hero. And Beryl just going to keep supporting her, and we'll be great. They'll be fine.
The thing with Jeb though is Jeb always seems to get roped in with the bad guys, making really horrible fucking drug deals and stuff.
Because he always gets that over his head. He's always like, again, ignorance is like, yeah, I can manage a drug deal. What? Steal some guns? Like I sell guns at the hardware store. It's not that different. Selling large quantities of mysterious figures. That's not that different.
Like from a character standpoint, like I actually made Peter kind of gravitate more towards Jeb because Jeb never gets rid of his, like he always has that sense of there's, hey, I believe, but I don't believe that hard. Whereas Peter is the hardcore believer, so he feels like Jeb is kind of like, hey, he'll at least listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I always respect that about Jeb. That's why I've had Peter kind of gravitate more in his realm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's interesting with you, Chase, playing Frank. I was going to call him Franklin because that's what Peter calls him. But it's interesting that you as a storyteller, and mind you, you're nothing unique. Of course, a DM or storyteller has always played a player character before, but
you're nothing special.
I will say though, I always enjoy the fact that Frank is not like super. Like you've never made Frank a character that's like, oh, by the way, we should totally go here now. Like you've never made Frank a narrative device.
I'll say this: Frank is like whenever I use him a lot, kind of for that. If nothing else, he's just mostly there to let you guys kind of know what your options are.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
But I never try to take the spotlight from you guys. Like, I mean, you might have. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's been very intentional on my part. Frank has never made any of the big decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll chime in and stuff, but like, I mean, and I'll go ahead and tell you, not all of his advice is necessarily the best advice. I'm just trying to, every time he talks, I'm like, what would Frank say in this?
Mm-hmm.
Which I like is,
yeah.
It's kind of like we get like in a rut for a second, because there'll be times over like all the campaign or the hunts we've done where it's kind of like we're all kind of like kind of stuck, and you're like, Frank's like, well, how about this? It's like, yeah, all right, yeah, that's actually kind of helps us out of this kind of spot where we don't.
Yeah, if nothing else, like it's a way to kind of point you, like not necessarily adventure this way, but it's just kind of something that's like, well, here's an option you guys can have, and I mean, most of our games, like, the only thing I had planned out for this particular one, if I'm being completely honest, was I need to bring Rat back. That was literally the only thing I had planned.
I mean, the thing is, though, you had brought Rat back for the first half of this campaign.
And then I was just like, no, yeah, because you guys were off doing your own thing, and I was just like,
yeah,
you know what? Wouldn't it be funny if they got somewhere and was just like, oh yeah, he did join this church.
I'd honestly forgotten. Yeah, that was
no kidding. When the second you said he was there, I actually tried to look up like the scene where I learned his real name and was gonna like try to remind them that's his real name.
I forgot his real name. What's his real name? Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah, it is
Daniel.
Damn, Jim. Or damn, Sam. I can't even tell you how he's a character.
Damn, Daniel.
Damn, Daniel with the white
Well, here's a quick anecdote why I think I remember that. Because since I started working for Shamrock again, I'll call customers on the phone and whatnot. Also, I'm in a very, very loud truck, right? And so my standard intro is, hey, hello, this is Samuel with Shamrock Septic Service. How are you doing? Mm-hmm. And so many times, at least once a day, if not multiple times, oh, hey, Daniel, how are you? I'm like, God fucking damn it, again.
Yep.
And so now I'm starting to be like, hey, this is Samuel with Shamrock Centric Service, like hard enunciating. And so I had one job today, and we arrived, and we were talking to like the homeowners, and they're very nice and whatnot. And she looks at me and my dad and goes, so which one of you is Daniel? And we just stop and go, neither one. She goes, she didn't get it. She's like, oh, well, I talked to some Daniel over the phone. I was like, well, I'm Samuel. And she still was just not getting it. And I was
What
like,
the fuck?
no, there is no Daniel. It's just me. You were talking to me. She
There's
goes,
no Daniel, only Samuel.
oh, yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
I've had
no,
people
no.
like fuck up my name my whole life, and like for a while they're like Chase wasn't a terribly common name, but like it's still a name. It's not a name you'd mess up. Jason Lawrence, Chance Lawrence, Stacy Lawrence, like Stacy's a girl's name.
There are male stations. They
male.
tend to be like 80 or whatever now.
Yeah, there's male Ashleys too, but it's a girl's name. Like I mean, but like Chase, that's
what about
an easy
Ash
name.
Williams?
Hey, Bruce Campbell himself will say that Ash is a terrible name. He's actually said that on multiple occasions when people tell him, "Hey, we named our kid after your character." He's like, "Why? Ash is a bad name for a kid, especially a boy."
Through that as well.
Well, it's like people.
You know what? No. Live your whole life having your name being a literal family last name. So your first name is technically a last name by most people's standards. So Garrett. And then you wake up to things like Gomez, Garrett. And here's the fun thing in my life that I've tried to get by with. If anyone has ever got my name like badly wrong, Gomez being the most obvious example, that happened back in high school, I've run with it. Like I've never corrected them. I have tried to literally make up a Gomez Prather in my head. That was my name for a weekend, by the way. Gomez Prather was my name. I tried to pass myself off as a German exchange student there to play percussion with their band during a band camp that lasted a weekend. And I lasted about 2 days. I think by the end of it, I may have like fooled like a handful of people, but I lost it in the last day. Like
that's awesome.
Well, here's what killed me. I was so bad at percussion that like literally they're like Garrett, and I'm like, oh yes. I'm like, oh no, Gomez. Like I was so bad at what I was doing that I got called out.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love the name though.
Gomez
Prather.
Gomez Prather.
Gomez Prather might appear in the next campaign or game.
Oh my god, yes.
Honestly, that's fine because no kidding, on various video games, I have made that my social tag, Gomez Prather.
Yes.
Like it's stuck with me for life.
See, nobody ever messes up my name. Sarah Alexander is fairly straightforward. So I had somebody write my name as Shara one time, which was I said Sarah with an H and then they put the H.
What that was that?
It's like
Shara.
Not quite.
I was thinking like just like the joke with BoJack Horseman whenever they make a new sign, but there's always like continuations of like the directions for the sign at the end. Like your first name was Sarah with an H.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sarah with an H. That's your whole first name. That's the joke. It's a bad joke.
Oh, okay. All right.
I disagree. I think it's a great joke in the show. It's a bad joke on what we're doing.
Yeah.
More of a visual joke.
I have not caught the last season of BoJack Horseman. I know how it ends. I just haven't caught it.
It's good.
Yeah, I mean, I like that show. It's depression, but it's not like a depressing show. It's a good show. I like it.
So, I mean, no, it's pure depression as a show if you want to take it that way. But
it's people coping with depression, living with it. Go on, sorry.
Aren't we all?
Right.
So, literally, if this is going to become an off the books, like I said, Peter, I pretended to act like I knew what was happening in that situation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Me as the character, me as the player, has no idea. So, what are we doing there, storyteller? Like, am I going to show up and be like, I have it. It was Rick Moranis all along. Here's our battle plan.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna just show my whole big master plan out here. No,
No, there's no
nope,
master plan. Don't lie.
all show. Okay. One, there is always a rough outline. I have a beginning and an
A
end.
rough outline is not a master plan.
But like, real talk, I do know what they are. I hate to do the all shall be revealed, but if nothing else, you guys will absolutely get a soliloquy at the end. You can't have a proper villain without a soliloquy.
Yes, of course.
You'll be tied up. The laser will be going right up the center towards your crotch, Jeb, and he will say, "Well, Mr. Bond, I shall tell you my scheme."
So what
you've got the wrong guy. My name's O'Neill. It's Mr. O'Neill.
Oh, what's up, Garrett?
He's not one of those cool Flanagans that make the
Flanagans.
I tell you, Flanagan would have figured it all out. You know, he's having
10 steps ahead of us.
Yeah, he's having like a really successful adventure right this moment. Okay, real talk. If and when we pick Hunter back up, I am absolutely trying to find a way to work Flanagan into the plot. Like,
please.
I mean, I have enough friends with good like instrumental kind of sounds where I can make you that Flanagan's recording if you want it.
Yes,
nothing would make me happier than that. Seriously, I am swear to God, if you do nothing for me for the rest of my life, do that, and I will be
hell yeah,
ever grateful.
We'll start a Patreon once we get 100 patrons.
Okay.
That'll be the unlock.
Okay, like real talk, like
download Flanagan song.
This isn't a spoiler for Dungeons and Daddies, but they've literally done that, and they're making Rocks Rock, and Henry's making a geology themed EP about rocks and raps, and it was one of their stretch goals. Literally, like, it should be like releasing in a week.
Can I throw this out there? Like, Dungeons and Daddies, no kidding, Sam. Like, thank you for turning me on to that.
I love listening to that.
But yeah, can we take a minute to make this just a unpaid like advertisement for Dungeons? Like,
yeah, Dungeons and Daddies, download it. It's fantastic. It's funny.
I love when they call it a Natty 20. I don't know why that cracks me up so good.
I love that in the starting episodes, they really jump between calling their DM the Daddy Master.
Yeah,
it's like an actual thing they have to work around.
Yeah. And like the whole BDSM thing like comes in and out of play like strange times where you're like, this is, and it's like, okay, you'll go like 5 or 6 episodes, not sexual, nothing at all, and it's like, they're creeping back in.
I am curious though, because I know the only podcast material that they have that you can buy it was something they ran with the Call of Cthulhu system called At the Mountains of Dadness. Yes. And I want to say like it's attached to the actual Dungeons and Daddies game, isn't it?
Yeah, in a kind of
eat it though, but
it's a thin thread. It's essentially like I listen to it because I was a Patreon supporter.
I was about to say some of us may have bought this and not listened to it yet.
I became a Patreon subscriber okay. Within the week. I was like, I listened to like all their stuff in a week. I'm like, I will 100% pay $5 every single month. Mountains of Dadness is good. So it's like just their grandparents. Or granddads, except for Will or Henry Oakes is his grandmother. But it's fun. I think it's very worth it, and it kind of ties in a little bit. But I would recommend getting to actually.
Yeah, that's
there's one hard tie. There's one hard tie into it, but it doesn't spoil anything. But the moment in the Mountains of Dadness is better. The kind of like reveal. If you've gone to a certain point of the episodes in Dungeons and Daddies. So
speaking of kind of silly games run with what would normally be like fairly serious systems, like
Ron's best dad. I don't care what y'all say.
Daryl, but no, like
I haven't picked a dad yet.
But like obviously like
Glenn's worst dad.
Yeah, using Call of Cthulhu to run at the Mountains of Dadness. The makers of Zweihander are doing I think it's on Twitch right now, where it's Guyhander, where it's nothing. It's all built on Guy Fieri.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I would play that game. Like, what is my donkey sauce rating?
Do I have ability to say, put that in my mouth?
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet, but the creator of Zweihander, he's been advertising it for about a week now, and that's such a lovely idea.
There are so many horrible results that literally looking at someone and say put it in my mouth can end up in if you're rolling like a D20 that I love that.
Or a nat 1.
Mhm.
Roll a nat 1 and you put that in my mouth.
At that point, I just feel like you get lava shoved in your face.
Yeah, here's the thing. In the Zweihander system, like it's hard coded in the game where like if you fail hard. Like, they have like, like really hardcore fumbles and stuff because the game is supposed to be like kind of brutal. So yeah, it could be an eldritch horror, that it gets in your mouth. And worst of all, it doesn't taste that good.
One day, Chase,
It doesn't have nearly enough grease and hot sauce for Guy Fieri.
One day, Chase, you'll keep this game group together, and we will play Zweihander.
It's a really good one-off. I'd be happy with.
Honestly, yeah. Because I mean, it's one of those games.
Actually, yeah, I literally see that as a one-off. Like we all make characters we really care about, and if they live or die, who gives a fuck? We made them, and we're gonna roll the dice.
Yeah, I might do it as a one-off.
Yeah, we could do that.
The
Sure.
next one will probably be. We're still looking at vampire, right?
Yeah, I still have to. I think I have a drag name for my cis lady who is doing lady drag, but I'm gonna have to run it by a friend of mine because it's her Instagram handle.
I have a fairly tortured religious character that I'm excited to introduce.
I need to spend a lot more time creating a character.
Honestly, what I'll probably do is
Sam. This is what I do when like I'm doing mundane work. Like I just think like, oh God, yes, he could be a Sunday school teacher. All right. Like I just think of shit.
Mine's sort of random. Like I'll sort of get ideas out of nowhere and be like, yeah, maybe she could do drag. That'd be fun. Okay. Let me get CBS All Access so I can watch fucking RuPaul's Drag Race.
Well, what we'll probably do in maybe next week, as part of like the off the table, we could probably like just cook up ideas and stuff like that. Because we still haven't really done all of that. I've just pretty much told you guys, a rough idea for like a setting.
Mm-hmm.
But we could probably cook up ideas because a lot of times, Sam, remember when we all made characters way back in the Stone Age and like, you got to bounce a lot of your ideas off of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes that's the best time to make a character.
Yeah. Some rough ideas and then kind of, just form them with friends.
And then after 2 episodes, I showed up because I'm professional.
Well, I'm glad you did because you brought so much to the table.
Because you were a gym.
You have stuck around for the long haul, and that's all.
Really made me cry. That's all I can say.
You almost made me cry.
Yeah, I was about to
earlier.
say
It's
that's just
fair.
tit for tat.
All right, well, I'm going to wrap this up because it is 22:38 according to my clock, and some of y'all have to work.
Yeah. The rest of us that aren't military call it 10:38.
I call it pie time because Hannah made a key lime pie that I've not been eating for the last 30 minutes, so that's long overdue.
Dude, you should have brought that pie up there and fucking ate.
No, pie can wait. Pie can wait.
Pie can never wait.
But not any longer. It can't wait longer.
Pie can't wait. Pie can get 8.
I will get 8.
And that's what we're leaving.
I will hate eat it.
My friends, I love you. Be safe and have fun.
Love you too. We'll see y'all next weekend. Bye.